House Republicans are unveiling their plan to combat climate change today in answer to Democrats who have dominated on the issue. More public health officials are calling for water safety to be prioritized as part of the efforts. It's already playing out at the state level. New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu spoke with Bloomberg yesterday about his own plan.
We're making a huge investment in clean drinking water infrastructure here, about a $400 million investment, no taxpayer dollars. We're using it from the settlement money we got from Exxon years ago. So we're doing it kind of taxpayer free and allowing those dollars to go at the very local level.
For more, we welcome Kellogg Schwab, professor of water and public health at Johns Hopkins. He joins us from Baltimore. Professor, it's so interesting to hear the governor stress, no tax dollars in a way that almost undermines the importance of the issue. Tax dollars could very well be directed to this. Are we missing the point or the importance of water safety?
Water safety is incredibly important. A drink of clean, safe water from the tap is one of the most undervalued assets of American life. These climate change stressors, including extreme rain and drought, are putting pressure on our existing water supplies, as well as in our aging drinking water and wastewater infrastructure that can affect public health and the business sector. So it's incredibly important that we engage together in finding these important solutions.
Professor, how important is clean water for the economy, and how important is it to shape it and frame it as an economic issue?
It's incredibly important. Deloitte just recently put out a report in where they said that there's a staggering 240,000 water main breaks per year in the United States, costing an estimated $2.4 billion. That's just to repair the leaks. That doesn't have the important drivers of economic value of water. All of our sectors, not only households, but businesses, hospitals, even farming, rely on safe water. And we need to have that continued reliance and ability to have safe waters provided and adequate removal of our waste to have a thriving economy.
I think there's an understanding that from an infrastructure point of view, there's a mountain to climb here regardless, right? Across North America, we have aging infrastructure that needs upgrading. Are we doing that in a way that's thoughtful about climate change, about the additional requirements we will face in the coming years?
Yes, climate change brings that unknown factor. They're starting to understand we have an existing infrastructure of water, our pipes that provide drinking water and wastewater removal. There's hundreds of thousands of miles of these pipes. They're worth trillions of dollars, but sadly, they're underground. They're ignored. And with that ignoring, we've also not repaired or replaced them. There's cost estimates anywhere from tens to hundreds of billions of dollars to maintain and repair them. If we put on top of that climate change with these increased stresses, we know that there will be variances in the amount of rain and the amount of drought, and that will add to this problem. But we have some solutions we can do. We can start figuring out better ways to appreciate the value of water, putting the appropriate costs into it, and conserving water. And water use is an important part of that.
How would you assess the Trump administration's policy on this front?
Again, at the government level, it's important to realize that these are decades-long challenges, and we also have to have solutions that are long-term, not short-term in there. So each administration has its own values and interests in there, but overall, the United States has built a very robust economy based in many parts on access to water and removal of waste. And those will continue to thrive and survive these permutations. That said, it is important to realize that there are federal regulations that allow us to drive both improving economic and public health sectors, and this is an important thing to continue to consider.
Do you think that we are correctly or adequately addressing the fact that water is not an endlessly renewable resource? I mean, there are already obviously parts of the world, but certainly parts of America that are experiencing real water shortages, and some of them are permanent in nature. Are we on top of that issue as a live fact that we could have to deal with in our lifetime?
I don't think we're quite there yet. Obviously, certain states, California, for example, Arizona, and even Florida, are pushing water reuse. That's this idea that we can consider this as not a one-off. You can't just take water, use it for one thing, and discard it. We have to consider this as a value-added thing, that this will be part of our entire system. And we can all do better. Here in the East Coast, we've considered to have lots of water, but we're under water stress as well. So across the country, we need to continue to drive innovation and innovative ways that will improve not only water availability, but the business sector's reduction of water use. And there is a market to be made in this. As we go forward, we have to be engaged in a way that can be proactive to produce high-quality water, still relying on basic public health principles.
At the end of the day, it will all come down to cost, right? How much it would cost to actually make all of these improvements. Where would those funds come from?
Yeah, that's a challenging question. What sadly happened is over the decades, we've ignored the true value of water. We built these pipes hundreds of years ago, decades ago, and then we haven't valued what it means to maintain that high quality water because the pipes are hidden underground. Now, raising water bills is an important part of that, but a tariff structure is important. We also need to consider that there's a business approach to this as well. At the government level, we do need to invest this. There's ideas of an infrastructure. You see the roads, you see the bridges, but within our pipe system, we have a need, and there's jobs to be made in this, to push forward the resources that allow us to have a thriving economy. The American Civil Engineers Society has estimated that there's going to be a cost to the households of $46 billion over 7 years, and to the business sector of $140 billion. But there's also ways that we can have higher quality water that can improve both resources and provide jobs. It's estimated that 1.1 million jobs could be provided by having the sector be part of that economic thriving